Good afternoon and welcome back. We are here again, and I barely heard the music, but anyway. And we are here again, and today is really a special day because we got Barbara Hartwell back, and well, she was planning to come back anyway, but something has brought her back. So something that has happened there in troll land and blog post.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey. Okay.
Hello, Orion TalkRadio.com, Micro 1650 in Tonawanda, New York, and Spreaker.com, Live365.com, TalkStreamLive.com, and everybody else. Thanks for coming.
And as usual, when we have Barbara, we usually also have Randy, Dog Boy, instead of having Arnie. So, because we are a little bit more serious about all of this.
And hello, trolls. Hello to the trolls.
I know some of you are spying on our chat board, so that you can criticize what we say and try to ridicule it. Unfortunately, for what you're doing lately, you're really sticking your feet, both of them, in your mouth. But
do you not see how desperate your lies are?
Oh, yeah, ours. Yes. So for that reason, we are having, Barbara has agreed to come back, and she has, hi, Barbara.
Hi, Dr. Carpenter.
Hi. Good to have you back.
She has plenty to say on her side, so we are going to let her take over and go off with it, with the message to the trolls.
Okay. Well, I think a theme of this show this evening is going to be the freak show. Okay? Freak show. And you'll have to forgive me. I have motorcycles and all kinds of things in the background here. Right down
Pinocchio. Not again.
Okay. I hope you don't have too much noise here. Anyway, let me begin by speaking about one of the freaks. And this is someone by the name of Michelle. Is that the correct pronunciation?
I believe.
Who knows? I assume so.
Okay. Well, you see, I've been aware of this person for a while, and I know you described her as the head troll. This basically a stalker, a provocateur, and a stalker. And she's been libeling you and slandering you for about 3 years now. Is that correct?
Her, I
Michelle,
think
more like 2.
Okay, Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 is Pinocchio.
Oh, I heard the motorcycle that time.
I'm going to close the window. Just hold on for one.
You don't have to.
No, it'll be a little better. Just hold on.
Get your motor running.
Okay.
Get out on the highway.
I still hear it, but it's not going to be as loud. Anyway, so this freak, Michelle, and by the way, if anybody wants to go to my website, it's Barbara Hartwell versus CIA. I've got a mug shot of the freak, the PsychoStalker, Michelle, and when you see this face, when you see the mug shot, you will need hardly any further explanation of what this person is.
She kind of looks hypnotized. Mind control.
Well, it's what happened, though. As you know, a few days ago, you sent me an email alerting me to the fact that this psycho-stalking freak, Michelle, is now on my case. Okay? Now she's on my case. So let me read for the listeners. I'm going to read what Michelle posted on probably more than one public message board. Here it is. It wasn't bad enough that they lie to their patients and tell them their tumor is dead, not their cancer. Tell them they are fine, lie and lie some more. Then go on their ridiculous radio show and make complete asses out of themselves then get family members to call in with fake names and stories, and then finally claim to be ex-CIA agents. Really? LOL. How much more desperate can you get? Oh yes, how about call the owner of your web server to take down someone else's website every day? LOL. Desperation has no morals. Now that's the words of Michelle. So anyway, now she's dragged me into this and saying that I'm a family member of Dr. Carpenter and making up.
Well, you know, she has to discredit everything.
Yeah, well, she's not doing a very good job because, first of all, you know, I have a little article up on my website here, and, you know, all she would have had to do is put my name into a search engine, and she would have found my website, Barbara Hartwell versus CIA. She would have been able to trace my work published on the internet back to 1995. And she would know that indeed, yes, I am an ex-CIA agent. So anybody with half a brain could have done that. So instead, she fabricates this idiocy and says that it's a family member of yours calling in with a fake name and making up fake stories. Okay? So, well, this shows you how much she has to work with. In other words, she accuses you of being desperate and having no morals. You know, liars, people who bear false witness are the ones who have no morals. And if this woman claims to be a Christian,
I think she claims it.
That's what she claims. Well, Christians don't bear false witness against others. Christians don't become stalking freaks and go on a mission to destroy someone. Wouldn't you say?
I would say, especially when they make up stories that didn't happen, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was also reading, I was just laughing so hard because I was reading some of the posts that were out there that were put up, like the freak show, which had all the pictures of a pumpkin, like a Halloween pumpkin, and a toad on a mushroom or something like that. And they had those little quotes coming out of their mouths. I'm going to make it my mission to expose Dr. Carpenter and shut down Lay's Med Inc. I mean, these people are freaks, but they are looking for attention. You see, that's the nature of these stalkers. Mm-hmm. I've had all kinds of these same kind of people on my case for well over a decade. They are obsessive and they're psychopaths. Nobody else would do this. Nobody else would get on an obsessive track to destroy someone. And that's why they come out of the woodwork, because they're just minions, basically. They find people with an axe to grind. You know, they've already made a scapegoat and tried to blame Dr. Carpenter for something that was not her fault. And then they look for these little freaks that can contribute to the stalking and libel campaign.
Kind of a puppet distraction.
Yeah, but I am sure that because some of the story that are showing don't make any sense and do not match any of our patients. So I think she's making them up, pretending to be somebody else, and then she answers herself in the post.
Exactly. Well, that's just the same. Now, can you imagine how stupid somebody would have to be? How stupid would you have to be to post something accusing me, a real person, a legitimate person, who uses my real name, always have been on the internet since 1995, and she accuses me of being a fake name, fake stories, and
a relative.
A relative, of course. How stupid would you have to be?
That's not the first time, though.
Well, I don't know if it's stupidity or really desperation, because they're paid to do that. Believe me, agent provocateurs.
They've said that about patients that you've brought on your show, too. Remember?
Oh, yeah. They said that the patient are paid to say that because they are the ones who are paid. You know, you always accuse your enemy of what you're guilty of. It's normal.
That's true. And also, you know, some of these people, whether they're paid in dollars or whether they're paid in some other...
Yeah, testify. If you're telling the truth, they won't let you. Okay. All right. I'm not sure where we were when the break came. So Barbara is going to pick up a little earlier what she was saying a little before the
Well,
break.
we were talking about how this freak show of various provocateurs and stalkers and shills.
But don't convince them of being connected. Don't accuse them of being connected to the court, because they will object very loudly.
Well,
I mean, Barbara can be a relative of ours. They can say that, but we cannot tell the truth about the fact that they're all connected.
well, I'm not finished with Michelle.
Okay.
And if they want to post this, if you want to post this on YouTube, and the idiocy starts where you have to bleep out the name every time I say it, I'll keep saying it. Michelle freak.
It looked like one of those declassified CIA documents with the black boxes over everything.
That's
you know.
right. That's
I've
right.
already put up a couple of videos that look like that because everything I had the black box.
Yeah, let's talk about this YouTube censorship, because I've been the
Crazy.
victim of that kind of stuff too. It's all Google, you know, they're all connected.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us what actually happened about your videos when you tried to defend yourself against defamation, slander, character assassination, and freak show stalkers?
What happened is last year, when I still had lawyers that were backstabbing me, I still had the wound on my back. They're still sore. Anyway, they told me that I couldn't say anything. I have all this evidence that these people are lying, but they said you cannot say anything, you cannot discuss the patient, you cannot do that, you cannot do that. And you'll do it in court. And then, of course, they won't let me say anything. Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't go, because they weren't going to let me talk about anything other than try to respond to the attacks and not present the case. So, what was it? 2 months ago that we were looking at putting in storage. We were putting in storage all the different files because we were overwhelmed by files. So what we did is it took this different piles of files from the file cabinets and tried to put them in storage. And out of this pile, only one single page flew out of it. Okay? Just like that. Just flew out. Okay. Paper slipping out of the file when you're moving them is pretty common, but this one. And this was a copy of a prescription we gave to this Cindy friend, supposedly friend of Michelle, that said that she had been, it was a prescription for an ultrasound to check the breast cancer that we had treated and the thyroid cancer, because she had been, and says that she had been diagnosed with both breast cancer and thyroid cancer. So I said, wait a minute, I had totally forgotten, because so many things had been going on, all this confusion, trying to fight the abuses, trying to find my own attorneys. I just totally forgot. And then it came back to mind. Wait a minute, she had thyroid cancer that she didn't want us to treat because she didn't want to spend more money, because she was spending it anyway. And by the way, she filed for herself for reimbursement. She was reimbursed by her own insurance. So she really didn't spend much out of her pocket. But anyway, so she didn't want that, and she was going back to her alternative practitioner and continue on for the thyroid cancer. So these people on the web have been, the trolls and the Michelle character have been complaining on the web that her friend died, and because we treated the breast cancer, and the breast cancer wasn't, we said it was dead, the tumor was dead, and even the infiltration in the lymph node was dead, everything was fine, but she never mentioned for 1 minute that she also had thyroid cancer that we didn't treat. She only said, right, the elephant in the room. She never said that. Well, we have to have some fun here. So So she never said that. She totally ignored it, and she said she had metastases all over coming from the breast tumor. And I said, that's ridiculous. I don't know if she had anything anywhere else, but it's not metastasis from the breast tumor because the breast tumor was dead, and that tissue does not metastasize. But she kept going at that. We killed her friend, and on and on and on. And then it comes out that I was reminded that she had thyroid cancer. So I also investigated the issue, and I found out that I'm not an MD, I'm not a DO, so I am not restricted by the HIPAA rules that I cannot talk about the patient situation. I can. I mean, I usually don't because I respect their privacy. But the thing is that these people were not respecting mine, and they were attacking me with false accusations. So we decided to put up this video. And we put up this video where I show, and I am not saying blah, 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 this is what happened, blah, because I said so, like the agent provocateur Michelle Woven does. I didn't say that. I just show in black and white the facts. That and other facts about the trial, because even the person that sued me was a liar, and she was actually doing well, and she lied. So I presented in black and white the evidence that I had that my attorney didn't let me use.
Okay, now, Dr. Carpenter, I think we should make this very clear, though, as to this Michelle. Michelle is not a professional in any field or discipline. No. She is not a doctor. She has no expertise in any kind of, certainly in the cancer treatment.
She's a freelance cancer expert, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And she sells glyconutrients to handle.
Okay.
So she is a peddler.
Yeah, but what she actually is a busybody. I mean, she's running around sticking her nose in your business, other people's business, shooting her mouth off. She's an ignoramus, and as I called her before, I think on the last show, a belligerent ignoramus, because she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. She has only one speed that she's set, and that is to attack and destroy.
One article I read about her said that her voice only has one volume, screaming.
Yes. Well, they're always like that. They sound like demons. I've had these people on my case, and there was a time when I had a telephone number long ago before I had to change it, and these people would call up these harassing phone calls, and they would long-winded messages. My son used to say, "Oh, Mom, that nutcase from Colorado, he called again," and that was Tim White. Okay, he's the huge psycho-stalker, crazy criminal transvestite. Yes. Yeah.
Really? Is it transvestite?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. In addition to everything else. Great.
A cross-dresser. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, these people are always freaks.
Yeah.
I've never seen any exception to this. But the point that I'm making here, about this particular case is these people don't ever have any facts at their disposal. They are either making their own fabrications, or they are just parroting the fabrications that have been given to them. Because remember, they're nothing but minions.
Right.
So obviously this woman is connected to somebody in the court system.
Right, the lawyer.
Some crook or crooks that are running this conspiracy, and it is a criminal conspiracy. It's racketeering.
We got
I know that would be difficult to prove, but judging from everything that I've done,
See? So we have to continue.
Yeah, it's music.
Remember where you left it at, okay?
I will. Well, that's frustrating.
I know.
I don't hear anything in the background.
It's very
free speech guaranteed. You're listening to the Orion Talk Radio Network.
Okay, I think we're back. Woo. Yeah, that was even lower than before. Okay, I think we're back. And something's got to be done about this.
Blind by instruments.
Yeah. Okay, so Barbara was saying her view of the situation.
Oh yeah. Well, what I was talking about, it's kind of frustrating when you don't know a break is coming. So I don't know where I left off, except for that I was beginning to explain that, judging from everything that I have now learned about this case, it's not necessarily extensive to the level that you know about it, but I know enough to know that this is a criminal conspiracy operating against you, which involves racketeering. Okay, this is not just a slander campaign. This is like a full-blown counterintelligence operation, and it involves, public officials, as well as their minions and stooges like Michelle. We've got no more motorcycles. That's what I'm saying. I know it's very difficult. The frustrating thing whenever I hear about something like this is, because it's been run against me too in a very similar manner, is that it's almost impossible to prove what is happening, what has been set up against you, how it has been engineered, and who's really at the top pulling the strings. Because I can guarantee you there are some people at the top pulling strings that want to not just silence you or neutralize you, they aim to ruin you.
Yes,
they want you homeless and destitute.
And that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing, exactly. So you see, I have no mercy when it comes to people like Michelle. She is a part of this. She is a willing participant. I don't care if she's crazy or stupid or both, or which I believe both to be
dishonest
true.
too. That
Dishonest,
she's trying to steal money from people. Because
exactly.
She said, they are gonna go first. She said, watch your back. You're basically, by talking and then demonstrating the evidence against me that is all phony. They say, watch it, they're coming after you. And then the next couple of days,
The next day.
Okay, so we now know that I knew only when you told me, but you must have known that this woman is getting a heads up before anything happens.
Always has, always will. Right.
Okay, so Dr. Carpenter, I think it's really important that you tell the listeners the most recent event that happened to you, where the U.S. Marshal showed up at your house.
No, at the office.
At the office, excuse me.
Yeah, they didn't have my address, so showed up at the office. See, what happened is last year, they had a bogus trial, and then their judgment that was totally illegal, and they charged for $2.5 million, $1.5 million from the company and $1 million from me because of fraud against this patient, because this patient is not well now. 2 years after our treatment, she was well, and now supposedly she's not. It's a bunch of malarkey. But what I am saying is they had a $2.5 million judgment, and I said, what kind of judgment is that? That's ridiculous. It's not a valid court case. And but the lawyer enjoying his victory. What kind of victory is that? He was the only one there. He is the one that picked the jury. He's the one that presented the evidence, and it didn't have any opposition to the garbage he was saying. And then, I won the case. I'm so great. I won the case. It's $2.5 million. And his comment was that they knew they could never collect that kind of money, but they did it to discourage anybody that wanted to come to me, that they had breast cancer, wanted to come to me for treatment, to discourage from coming, because there is a judgment against me because I'm a fraud. And now they dropped the malpractice, which could never have been there because I'm not an MD. But also the fraud, it was also an illegal thing because it didn't apply to the case. But the $2.5 million is hanging there, okay? Well, they done nothing. But then I started to have the video that explained the truth of the evidence was all a farce. It was all a phony and presented in court. It was all farce. It was all a lie. So I did the video about that. And then I get Deputy Marshal come to the office and saying that he could seize all my assets because of the writ of execution based on the results of that trial.
So he served you with papers then?
Yeah, he gave me paper and said, really, I have to go to court in July and discuss. That's when they award whatever they take. But they didn't take anything because I don't have anything. So I don't know what else they are going to consider. But the thing is that basically I cannot have a checking account because they'll take all the money out of it. And I don't own a house. Well, I don't own a house, but if they do something and decide to actually look for money from me, then I won't even be able to rent a place or live anywhere except in a cardboard box downtown Tulsa, because nobody will rent a place to me, not having any record of anything other than that a ridiculous judgment that whatever life I've left, I could never cover it.
Yes, I fully understand. Similar things from a different angle have happened to me.
Yeah.
And turn around and say, praise the Lord, they're going to take those lasers.
And then she said, oh, praise the Lord, they're going to take the lasers and they're going to...
Michelle said, praise the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
She said, praise the Lord.
Doesn't... I've got news for anybody listening. Michelle doesn't know the Lord. She doesn't know the Lord at all.
It must be a different Lord, because the one...
The Lord of hell, maybe, yes.
Yeah, maybe, because the Lord we follow says, 9th commandment, you shall not bear false witness. So where does that come from? And you also should not try to hurt people. I mean, what Lord is that? I have no idea, but you know what it is.
Now, it doesn't say thou shalt not recommend PET scans, but it should.
No, because they didn't exist at the time he gave the...
Oh, okay.
See, but that's what she does. It's another criminal behavior. She says, go get a PET scan. And we have explained in the video, and we give to the patient the post-treatment guideline. After our treatment, it's treated with hyperthermia. The tissue is dead, but it's still there. So the immune system attacks it to remove the dead tissue, and it's a very slow process. It looks like an inflammation. It's not cancer. It's just a healing process.
But remember, Dr. Carpenter, I have to keep coming back to this. This woman doesn't know anything. She has no professional background. She has no information, no knowledge.
Right. Her credibility comes from the fact that she was emotionally connected to the victim.
Yeah,
and
but that
so
doesn't
she's
give
also
her
the one
credibility.
that gave her the garbage that made her situation worse, or lack of nutrient. She is the one responsible. And she is the one that told her go get a PET scan. So basically, she's the one who actually killed her friend.
So she's dispensing medical advice.
Right.
That's what she's doing.
And she said that I am a criminal because I'm giving medical and I'm not licensed. I'm giving medical advice and I'm not licensed. I'm not giving advice, I suggest. And I'm a physicist, so I know what lasers do. Okay? Which type of laser and whatever. See,
and there's nothing unlawful about what you're doing.
No.
If there were something unlawful, you wouldn't have had a practice to begin with in any state, whatever the guidelines
in
are.
Arkansas, I had a doctor, which the medical board removed, and I got another one who turned out to be a mole. Another one was coming from another state, and they never gave her the license in Arkansas. So I've always operated according to the law. In Oklahoma, it's a different state, and the rules are different. And that's why they're having a fit. They cannot do anything about it, so they call it illegal operation. Oh, she's operating illegally. I'm not.
Criminal enterprise.
Yes, it's a criminal enterprise. And now I'm a murderer also. Now I'm telling you, there are people, and I keep hearing these stories every day, people that discover they have cancer, the medical establishment decides that it's advanced case, they give him aggressive chemo, and the patient die in a few months, sometimes a few weeks. I've heard cases just 3-4 weeks after discovering cancer because of the aggressive chemo, they die. Did they call those oncologists criminal, murderer?
They just didn't get it quick enough.
Yeah, right. They say, oh, yeah. So, but my patients are fine. It's just that if they are stupid, follow bad advice, follow advice of peddlers like the Michelle case and her friend Cindy, they follow the wrong advice. They can die because I can kill the cancer. And
that's very serious, Dr. Carpenter. I mean,
break.
the way these people break. Okay.
Break coming.
Okay, we're back.
5.
Okay, so Barbara did not finish what she was saying before the break. I mean, I'm sorry, but today we have no idea when the break are coming or ending. I have no idea whatsoever. So Barbara's going to finish what she was saying before the break.
Well, actually, Dr. Carpenter, you were talking when we got to the break, and I would wish that you would finish first, because what you were saying is that by giving out false information and advice, actually advice to people, this woman, this freak, is dispensing medical advice to unsuspecting, hapless people, not knowing what she's talking about. And not only is she harming you by doing that, by the slander directed at you, but these people could die.
They did. They did.
And basically, anytime anybody searches for Dr. Carpenter online, Michelle gets another patient.
Yeah, because they see, call Michelle before you go there. Let me give you an example, okay? There was a patient a couple of years ago, that was scheduled to come for treatment. She was really at the last stage 4. She was a mess, and I was the only hope for her. And she would have survived because I can do that. It doesn't matter how advanced it is. I killed the tumor. It's dead, hopelessly dead. Well, she saw that thing on the web, and she called creature, and she was talked out of coming. She's dead. And she left a son that is 19. Okay?
That's absolutely appalling.
Did they figure out a way to blame you?
Yeah, no, they didn't find out about her. So, but I found out because the son sent me the information about when her funeral was, and she wasn't even one of my patients. But another one.
Let me ask you this, Doctor.
Yeah.
Didn't you mention at some point that Michelle was actually peddling some kind of...
She still is. Yeah, some kind of garbage called glyconutrient that are supposed to stop the cancer. You know, that's a real snake oil. Yeah, that's what she does.
Well, it's a simple sugar. Here's the thing on that. It's at one time, a few years ago, the company Manitech that makes this product was indicted for false advertising because apparently they were advertising it as an AIDS cancer cure. I don't think they do that anymore, but still,
They do it under the table.
Maybe.
Even if they don't do it officially on that. But I said another case was that somebody that was stage 4 and it was really having a problem, the tumor out of the skin, and then you have all this smelly stuff. Some of the tissue is dead, but some is alive. It's a mess. So she talked to this company, that this company has developed the sterile maggots that eat that tissue in conjunction with the University of California in Irvine, okay? So this is a legitimate company. She called them about trying to control the infection and the message she had with the maggots, which works. And this company told her to come to me, okay? That I will kill the tumor and then she can have the maggots. Because if you use the maggots when there is live tissue, you're not going to accomplish much. You might control the infection, but that's not very much. So they told her to come to me. But then she looked on the web, what was on the web, and she was not very smart, and she called the creature, and of course that one talked her out of coming. And I'm sure that woman is dead by now. And the thing is that I'm sure all these people just call me. She's gonna sell them the glyco garbage, okay? So she's basically using also to make money, peddling their nonsense and telling them that what I have.
It gets worse and worse the more I hear. And you know what this reminds me of, Dr. Carpenter, is a PsychoStalker that we've talked about before on this program. And his name is Timothy Patrick White, predicate felon, career criminal, who was hired, basically a little hireling. He made a deal to get out of jail free card so he could go stalk patriots and journalists and whistleblowers. This guy did the same thing to me, my friend, a former FBI agent, my friend, a number of my friends who are journalists, okay, legitimate people trying to do something, trying to put out information. He contacts every time he hears that we're going to be on a radio show. I'm surprised he hasn't contacted you.
Yeah, I've looked and I've never seen it.
It's very strange that he hasn't, but in any case, he would make phone calls or emails, he would fire out, huge slew of emails with absolute lies. He would say, oh, Barbara Hartwell, she's that CIA bitch. She's a CIA disinformation agent. Don't have her on the show. And then he made up other lies about various other people. He did exactly the same thing. Every time my name came up on a website, on a radio show, anytime he found that I had a supporter
Yeah.
or someone who wanted to promote my work, publish my work, he was there on the case doing a carpet bombing of libel and slander, stalking and harassment. And you know, if that didn't work, if he first would approach them as if I have important information to deliver about Barbara Hartwell, and it's the same Michelle tactic. But
well, she did it to the radio station Liberty when we were on Liberty
yes,
News Radio.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah, she did.
But if that didn't work, if the person said, "Get lost, creep," which some people just said, "Get the hell out of here, you creep,"
Yeah.
then he would start actually threatening people. And to some of the people, he made death threats, like intimidation tactics. I mean, it's ludicrous. Ludicrous. He's got restraining orders. I can't even count the number of restraining orders that people file, that I know. People that I know and know of who filed restraining orders against this psycho stalker. And nothing, he kept violating the restraining orders because guess what? The people up above
we're paying him.
We're paying him and protecting him.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with Michelle.
That's exactly what's happening. And
Yes.
so to me is all these evil creatures that do horrible things and they pretend to be so good and so helpful to humanity. They really are selling their soul, if they have one, for nickel and dime. That's what they're doing.
Well, they are. And actually, you were mentioning that Michelle has a photo or some, not a photo, a picture of Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
On her website. I didn't see it, but obviously she's trying to draw a correlation. As she is Joan of Arc, right?
Yeah,
Fighter for
right.
justice.
And that's what
defending the defenseless. I think that's what it says.
But what I said the other time was, okay, Joan of Arc, what she did was against the status quo, and she's a symbol of fighting the status quo for the good of the public. Fighting the status quo is not the image of the creature.
Not at all. And
Not at all. She's the opposite.
Remember, too, that Joan of Arc was informed by the Holy Spirit, and nothing could be further from the truth with this creature, as you call her, this creature, this freak.
She's not human. She's not human. That's why I call her a creature. It's some kind of creature, but I don't know why.
She's the devil.
Well,
That's what I've come to
She's
see
the
it
devil.
as. She's the devil.
she's probably one of the offsprings, you know. I love my ex. And even Pinocchio is definitely. Look at that face. But you know what? Last year they were calling me a serial killer.
Oh, my God.
And she wrote an email to the radio owner of the radio station, Liberty News Radio, and she actually sent an email saying, "Have you heard about the serial killer?" Boy, they got furious. Mm-hmm. She had the opposite.
Well,
effect.
it's very important to keep exposing these people by name. And that's what I will do. I mean, I put her picture on my website. I will continue to expose them by name. Because you
Who
see,
is your web host?
It's just Barbara Hartwell versus CIA.
Okay.
It's on a
Okay.
blog spot.
It's
Okay?
Blogspot.
Yeah, it's a blog spot.
They
But
cannot. They cannot.
put that in, you'll find it. But my point is that if these people are exposed enough, other people,
That's
the
the point.
readers, will finally understand, well, this woman is a freak. She's a psycho stalking freak. Why would we want to believe anything she says?
Right, and everything
I
she says
just
is a lie.
refuted the lie that she made up about me, saying that I'm a family member of Dr. Carpenter, using a fake name and making up fake stories. And she said that they made ass themselves. Well, no, Michelle, you're the ass.
I mean, I just don't believe it. But she say anything to push her stand and try to appear that she's right. I think that really, at this point, she's the desperate one. She is in a state of desperation. She's accusing me of being desperate, but actually she is. And you know why?
Well, yes, she is.
Because we showed in black and white the evidence. I mean, for 2 years. For 2 years, she kept saying that her friend died because I treated the breast cancer and it did not work. And even the lawsuits about the other cases said it did not work. So it's a fraud. Really? What about the chemo that does not work? Is that a fraud? Do you
Well,
arrest
the
them?
chemo kills them.
Yeah. I mean, come on. It's just unbelievable. And you know, even MD Anderson advertises that when they have the patient coming in, they create a specific treatment for that individual, their individual care. And what their individual care is, they put it on human trials of some new drugs. Do you know what? Those are not intended to make you well. Those are intended to find out. You got a break?
We're coming to the end of the hour.
End of the first, yeah, okay. We'll continue with the next hour. Okay, we're back for the second hour, and actually the first hour went quite fast. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we are. Because
millions of people in the chat room, too. Millions.
Yeah, right. But we are exposing facts, so it's great. So where were we, Barbara?
I think what I wanted to talk about, which I mentioned to you during the break, was this stuff that goes on at Google and YouTube and their selective censorship, where you're targeted for so and so, like Michelle is allowed to. I saw something that she put up with you. It was a video thing, and on the front of your picture there was the word bitch.
Oh, that's Chris Cuomo that did that.
Oh, that's another guy. Okay.
That's Pinocchio.
One of her cronies.
That's Pinocchio. Yeah, I know. And then he criticizes because next to me there is an old computer, or I'm using a paper cup to drink water from, or...
okay. So that was allowed to stand, evidently, the bitch, right? But when every time you put a YouTube video of one of your radio shows, or you put up a photograph of the freak, Michelle, they tear it down. They force you to edit those things out.
Well, in name only, Google and YouTube are two different entities. Actually, they're not, but they appear to be two different ones. The YouTube allowed her horrible, full of lie video to stay on for 2 years in spite of our complaints.
Actually, 4 of them.
Yeah, but when we put up ours showing the truth about her and the case of her friend and the case of the court case that was a farce, then she complained because we were saying her actual name and showing a picture. So YouTube said we could not have that video up. But fortunately, they decided to behave properly and took down hers too.
Well, that's completely outrageous. Because if someone, she came after you, Dr. Carpenter. She drew first blood. That's what it's a case of first blood. And she came out with libel, slander, completely false information, twisted information, presenting you in a false light. That's a legal term. She put you in the public in a false light. And what you did was you came back in your own defense with factual information.
Right.
And who was the person that was censored? You.
Right.
Well, and the thing is, it's like they elevated the level of enforcement once they took her videos down. Then after that point, we weren't allowed to even as much as say her name. Some places I've edited something 4 times, and the only thing left is the spoken name in the video, and it still gets put down. So
but
they're
the
telling us
other
we can't say her name.
Right. That is YouTube. Now, Google... we complained because Pinocchio put out additional information plus an additional website with the same web host, basically committing violation of copyright law because he's using our video that he butchered and put all those comments on it, and also our pictures without permission, and it's also complete slander. So we complained with the host, the web host of his website, and they did nothing. They said no, they couldn't do anything about it. Then we complained with Google because Google gave the right to the web host to be on. So we complained with them, And they read what we said and said, we decided to do nothing at this time. I mean, what kind of statement is that? There are libel laws. There are also laws on copyright infringement. So he is doing that, using my own video to butcher it and put all insults all over it. And he can get away with it. And
now, what is his name? What is Pinocchio's real name?
Bob Criscuolo.
Okay. Yeah, I know I have it written down somewhere because Randy sent me some emails.
And I tease him and I call him Crookquolo because it's a crook.
Yes. Well, I'm going to make sure I put his name into my hall of shame. I already have Michelle Wolven's name.
Yeah, we can email you because it's an Italian name, so I'll email it to you.
I already got it. I got it in my files already. And then there's another one. What's his name? Bill Bond.
Oh, that's the attorney. Yes,
the attorney.
Yeah. The former politician that passed all this, push all this legislation to give more and more money to the medical school. And mind you, Arkansas is not a wealthy state, okay? And they had the state to put up money to match donations so they could continue trying to work on this nonsense and trying to copy and try to reinvent what I did already years ago.
So they were basically trying to duplicate your technology.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes. They're not very good at it either. I don't know.
And this medical paper came out the same, I know it was within a few weeks of the filing of that lawsuit.
And then that radio station in Fort Smith, then they were pushed to shut up. The radio station in Fort Smith called the news in Arkansas that I put that article up and said, wait a minute, Les Medina has been doing the same thing for years, way before the medical school did it. They've been doing it for years.
But we do it better.
Well, the medical school did not say anything, but NIH, the National Institute of Health, the office in Arkansas answered that and said, no, it's not the same thing at all because we are using a different answer, and it's a more pure compound. Les Medina is not doing any toxicity testing, so it's not the same thing.
So did they send their spies in to try to steal your technology as well?
Yeah, they tried that with the mole doctor, and
that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
And I also think that my ex gave him plenty of information, but it got to the point when I was giving my deposition. And by the way, during the deposition, they wouldn't let me discuss the treatment at all, except that the Will Bond was asking me, what is the protocol? Hey, that is property of the corporation. It's confidential information. I'm not going to give you that.
It's none of your damn business. Is what it comes down to.
I know where they wanted to go, and I know that I wasn't answering that. The judge sent the issue that I had to because that was not confidential information. The protocol that we use that is unique is not confidential information because the judge that is supposed to be neutral decided that. So it was all a farce. And I knew that I could not go to court because they would have thrown me in jail for being in contempt of court because I wasn't giving out secrets of the corporation.
Yes,
I knew
that's what they will do. And now you are faced with the possibility of losing everything that you have because of this bogus judgment from a bunch of freaks and liars and scumbags.
Lawsuit by a woman whose life you saved.
Yeah. These are just scumbags. There's no
they are. And they said that what I did was a fraud, and even the news here on the local station that was informed by Michelle about the outcome of the trial, they said, oh, it did not work. So there, it was a fraud. Okay, well, what happens when they use chemo and it does not work? Mm-hmm. They do nothing about that, and they know that chemo in most cases does not work.
Did Michelle contact the media?
Yes.
She did.
She did.
Yes.
The first article, as a matter of fact, came as a result of some phone calls she made.
She called everybody. She even called the Broken Arrow Ledger, remember?
Right.
She called everybody. Right. And, of course, the media... how could they believe only one side? That's because they're looking for dirty laundry, so they follow only that. And even, let me tell you something, 5 patients called the TV station saying, hey, that is not correct. We have had the treatment. We're doing great. Call me and I'll give you the detail. They didn't call him back.
And they didn't call them back because
No.
they were selectively deciding who was to be interviewed or publicized and
Right,
who was
only
not
one
to,
side.
because they were on a witch hunt from
Right.
day one.
Yeah. Why? Who knows who was paying them? And I don't know. It's just unbelievable. And the one on Channel 6, whatever her name is, she was acting like she was from the Gestapo, you know? I just
Lori
don't believe-
Fulbright.
Yeah, unbelievable. And the Broken Arrow Ledger, this woman calls me and then said she wanted to do an article. And I said, do you have names of people that I can talk to? Absolutely. Here they are. I want a phone number. Well, I don't have it right here. I'll call you back. No. She wanted it right then. So I quickly looked through my files and I gave her the number of 3 people. Okay? She didn't call him. And she wrote the article only one-sided without calling them. So I called her back and I said, you lied. And she got all insulted because I said to her that she was a liar. And I said, you said you would contact these people before writing the article, and you did. Okay, we are back from another break, and we were discussing all these ridiculous trolls they're making. If anybody has a minimal understanding of science, they will know how ridiculous the comments of these people are. How could he kill the tissue with hyperthermia be a fraud? How could be a laser be snake oil? It's impossible, okay? And it's well known, has been well known from the beginning of time that hyperthermia, elevated heat, can kill human tissue, and it will kill cancer. The problem is, how do you kill just the tumor and nothing else, and don't damage the tissue around it? And that has been the problem all along, because they claim that the cancer tissue is more sensitive to heat than the normal tissue is, but that's only true for part of the tumor, if any, sometimes. Not all the time. That's why hyperthermia sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. But if you reach 60 degrees C and you hold it there for more than 15 seconds, the tissue is dead. The trick is, how do you do it so you only affect the tumor and nothing else? And that's what we do. Well, it's not that difficult either. So, anyway.
So you've developed it. It's a science. You have developed it. You have shown through your work that it is effective, and they're hell-bent on stopping you from saving people's lives at a fraction of the cost of
a
chemotherapy
minimum.
and radiation, in which they will eventually die, most likely.
Right. But not only that, we are talking about a lot less than what they pay in copay. Have insurance, they still have a certain amount of copay, okay? Well, it's a minimal fraction, even of copay, because I don't know if you know, but the way things are right now, one infusion of chemotherapy runs about $25,000 to $30,000 per infusion. Okay?
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, they
That's
don't tell you that, but that's what it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, how do people afford that, though?
Well, the insurance pay
Subsidies.
for it, but the person still has to cover 20% of it. In most cases, the copay.
So it's like $5,000 or something like that?
Right, but they go at least for a 6 months. That's the minimum.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's why do you realize that most bankruptcy cases today are for medical bills?
No, I didn't know that.
Most, over 60% of the bankruptcy listed is due to people that are overwhelmed by medical bills. And our treatment, that has to be done only once, unless the patient keep taking medication that cause the cancer. If they don't, if the cause of the cancer still exists because they're taking something they're not supposed to, then it can happen again. But otherwise, it doesn't.
And they have to make enough money to support this huge administrative beast that they've created, too.
Right, but our treatment only once. One set of session depends. The average case, it requires 5 sessions, and it will cost 1/3 of one infusion of chemo. Okay, which is
that's really amazing. That's really amazing, and the other thing that I find so amazing about it is that you have this army of stooges and trolls and stalkers and freaks all running around talking, shooting their mouths off about these issues. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, and yet they're destroying your business
and killing people.
And as a result of their false information that they're plastering all over the place, it is resulting in deaths of people. Well, what I believe is that God Almighty sees it all and knows it all and will hold them accountable for what they've done.
Well,
I really
is allowing them to torment me. That's my question.
Right now, it's about getting on the front page one of Google. You know, that's how they do it.
Yes, that's correct. And that's exactly the same thing they've done to me. I find things that are like 5, 6 years old, like CIA disinfo agent Barbara Hartwell targets our family. A total lie from a person who doesn't even know me.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's on front page of Google because he's got a sensationalistic, like, tabloid.
No, they have a
photo.
They have a fake way of
yes. Well, that's what I'm saying,
controlling the searches.
Is that somebody is behind the scenes manipulating the Google search engines.
And I do understand that I have a very wealthy, powerful enemy and other drug companies, okay? And but I don't know if it goes, I don't know how far it goes, okay? I know that from one of the comment of Michelle, that jerk, I mean, I can't even say the full name. She's just a troll. She was saying that, she was pretending to be somebody else and was saying, there is a problem with this treatment, and that's why the university doing research are struggling with it. No, there is no problem with it. They just either don't know what the hell they're doing or they're covering up. So this thing won't pass. Because I say that there is a video that I have on our website that said, put up or shut up. And what it does, I'm fed up with people keep saying, the tissue's still alive, because they're doing the wrong testing. So what I say, okay, you are so sure that this is not working and the tissue's still alive. Well, then do the proper testing. That will tell you whether it's or not it's alive. And I said there are 3 possibilities. And in that video, I give the 3 possibilities of what type of testing they can do to verify that the tissue is dead. You think they're taking me on? No, because they know that what I say is correct, and those testing, the proper testing, will confirm that the tissue is dead. That's why they keep pushing PET scan and MRIs.
What was that crazy article a few months ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, that you found, or somebody had found, and you brought it to my attention, that somebody was saying that necrotic tissue, that excess necrotic tissue can make cancer spread, or something like that?
I don't remember. It was something, they said something that's stupid, that tissue can make a cancer spread. How?
I don't remember exactly. I know we talked about it a few weeks ago.
If you, and in fact I say, since we killed the tumor and the dead tissue is still in place and it has to allow the immune system to attack it and flush it, which takes years, but it's there. If tumor was something, the cancer was something external to our body, that will give the chance to the immune system to develop a vaccination. And so people will be vaccinated against that type of cancer automatically after our treatment. That's not the case because cancer. But there are some people that claim that photodynamic therapy is a vaccination against that type of cancer. It's not. It's not true. But that's what they are pushing. If it were caused by any sort of infection, any sort of fungus, any sort of bacteria, anything, virus, anything, then with our treatment, it will create a vaccination. That's why I said it's ridiculous when they talk about vaccinating people, developing a vaccine. Oh, please. Anyway, there is so much misinformation. But see, it's feeding many industry. The drug companies, is feeding all the hospitals that are making a fortune in all those ridiculous testing and people developing other health problems and then keep coming back to the hospital for more help. And it's also hurting the research industry, because even research is an industry now. There's a break.
Real alternative radio. We are OrionTalkRadio.com.
We are coming back. Oh. Okay. It's not as bad as an Arkansas accent, you know?
American conspiracy.
What is an Arkansas accent?
Carpenter.
I'll show you if you want.
Yeah, go ahead, because I don't.
And we're back. There was testimony presented at the trial that what she's selling is snake oil.
Oh,
that's an Arkansas accent.
Well, no, actually, you're not from around here, are you?
No, the only time I sound like a New Yorker is when I swear sometimes.
Here's an Arkansas accent.
An inside job? How dare you? How dare you?
I did not have relations with. Okay. JJ from Against the Wall and Robin Freeland Show.
Yeah.
Has joined us for the last half hour.
Yeah, well, I was...
not for the last half hour. Oh, for the last hour of the show, not the... Okay. All right, never mind.
I was listening, and I noticed at the beginning of the show that this Michelle woman that's been attacking you guys is now going after Barb, calling her fake and all that. And I was thinking to myself, wow, you have picked the wrong steer to tangle with. She's not a steer.
Damn
you
right.
done grabbed the bull by the horns now.
You got a one-woman SWAT team now.
Well, the fact is that she was in the CIA and that she has friends in the FBI. I've gotten emails from friends of yours in the FBI, which really blew my mind, thanking me for all my work. And I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe this. But
Gerald Sosby, he's a former FBI agent, whistleblower. Yep.
Too bad you can get your friend to seek her.
Yeah, well, no, he's a target too. And he loves James because we talked about his case on the show, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the one where we kind of discovered Barbara.
Yeah, that was actually. And then a couple of weeks later, I don't know, a lot of people might not know, but I about a month ago, I just about gave up radio completely. And then,
I was kind of scared. I got the email that was circulating.
I started getting letters from people that appreciated me, so I decided that, I guess I'll just buck up. And
you can't go nowhere.
That's right. I'm stuck.
Well, at least you have followers. I don't know if I have any.
You do. You've got me.
Yeah, but I mean, a pretty limited number. And Barbara, I have a few, but mostly on this radio station. I don't know if I have any outside the radio station.
Oh, well, that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not positive about that.
You will, though, Dr. Carpenter. We're working on some big radio shows.
People need to know, because when I talk to some of the patients, saying the things that they did with that court case, they just are flabbergasted. I mean, their eyes are popping out, say, are you kidding? My own attorney not submitting the deposition of patient that said they were doing great. I mean, just unbelievable. And even when he was interviewing them, he was talking to them before they did the deposition, he was trying to sidetrack him and confuse him. Just unbelievable, okay? And he was trying to really... And one patient that said, okay, the reason why they're attacking her because they cannot allow her to continue. That would change the revenue in the medical industry. And he said, no, we cannot use that deposition. Yep.
Well, because not only is your method revolutionary and effective and far less expensive, but it would eventually put these bastards out of business.
Right. No more chemo because, let me tell you, way back they were trying to say, okay, this is a good idea. It's synergetic, which means it's compatible with chemo. I said, no, it's not. It's absolutely not. Because if you don't have cancer anymore, would you have chemo? No, because chemo kills. If you do not have cancer, the patient is going to get killed. So I cannot work with you now in these terms. And a lot of alternative also damage the patient if the tumor is dead. But nobody's listening. And I said, I cannot work with you. I cannot cooperate under this condition. I will not do it. Now, my ex was trying to do it, but no. because the patient is fine, the cancer is dead, you cannot give him poison, and you cannot give him all of these supplements because then they overactivate the immune system, and then the patient is also in trouble. So you cannot do that. You have to leave him alone, go back to live a normal life. You see, that eliminates the supplement industry, that eliminates the drug industry. That's why they have to stomp on me. See?
Little pink ribbons that'll.
Yeah, right.
Ribbons.
That's another useless.
All the millions and millions and billions of dollars they've raised.
Yeah, over the years, yes, they have. For what?
To
Nothing.
spread cancer. To spread cancer.
Yeah, because you know what the Common Foundation pays for? They pay for mammograms, which means nothing, and eventually will give you breast cancer, even if you were not going to get.
That's even mainstream now that multiple mammograms can cause breast cancer.
I've been
That's right,
seeing
'cause
that
it's
for...
radiation.
So why aren't they
Right.
giving them up? I mean, why?
They're not
Well,
giving
so
them
now
up.
they say what? That you still should get them, just not as many. That's like saying, well, you know, mercury is poison, but it's safe if you take this much. And then then they just raise the amount that they claim is safe.
You have to start taking it when you're a baby and increase the amount to build your tolerance.
Yeah, right. And they keep saying it lowering the age. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just like the naturopathic peddler that say, oh, you have to take iodine. Iodine is terrible because it's not going to do anything to cancer. And if you do not have thyroid problem, will cause them because the body, the thyroid realizes that there's enough iodine in your body, and then it shuts down. So the thyroid shuts down. Great. I mean, really bad. And they do that for the sake of selling their supplements.
Well, you know what, Dr. Carpenter, aside from all this false information that the medical community is spreading, the medical mafia, then you've got these ignoramuses, these people that don't know anything, like Michelle and her cronies, and they're out there just spreading.
You gotta wonder where they get their money.
Yeah, spreading disinformation. So, I mean, how many of these people, these trolls,
okay,
these
the
psychos,
real
have you identified?
Okay,
Four,
the basic
basically.
one: Bob Criscuolo, Elia Bazin, Michelle, and then they all had that other one. We never remember the name that we call Peanut, but she just did a video which has been taken down. So, yeah, and she knows nothing of anything. Actually, none of them know nothing of anything.
Well, that's the absurdity of it, that they don't know anything. I've read these things. I've gone online and searched them out, and I've read them, and they are ludicrous. This Michelle was talking about a fungating tumor. Now, how the hell would she know? How the hell would she know what something was? Does she have the medical charts? Does she have the medical records? Does she...
There is no such a thing as a fungating tumor, okay? There are fungoid tumors, but it's not, breast cancer is not a fungoid tumor. Fungoid tumors are growing in the brain or the ovary, not breast cancer. What she call, and there is fungoid, not fungating. And she called it fungating because the tumor has come out of the skin. And it's come out of the skin because of the supplement, wrong supplement that the woman was taking, possibly the glyconutrient 2, I don't know, but I know there are others that will cause that. The tumor was pushed out of the skin. So obviously, once the tumor is exposed to air, it starts falling apart because it's dead tissue, just like a dead body. It starts falling apart, okay? The smell, it looks weird, and it's falling apart. And it's seeping, it's a mess, just like a decomposing body. Decomposing bodies seep also, okay?
But she told you that she was on a regimen of some kind for the thyroid cancer, so you know she was doing something.
And then she's saying, no, you treated, I know it can be proven that you treated the thyroid cancer. How? I can prove that I did not. But also the breast, and she was saying how she didn't do anything. Well, if she did nothing for the thyroid cancer, there you go. It metastasized. So it's the cause of her death. And if she did something, that's the one that caused the breast cancer to push out of the skin. So, and it's not that it was growing, it was just being pushed out by all the activity. And I will have a video that shows basic physics, the forces involved, and why.
The immune system into overdrive kind of thing?
Right, that's what it is. We give him too much supplements, immune system boosting product, and then it's in overdrive and causes serious problem. Okay?
Well, Dr. Carpenter, what I would like to ask is, do you think that they will actually be able to enforce these papers to just steal everything that you have from you?
I don't know. I am fighting it, but I don't know. I don't know what they can do. Really, the court in Arkansas has no jurisdiction over me. I don't know what the court here in Oklahoma is going to listen to, but they shouldn't. Legally speaking, they shouldn't, but they violated the law so much that I don't know. Okay, I've no.
But I wish you could find an honorable attorney.
Okay,
we're hitting a break.
Okay.
Called you doctor, woke him up, said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take a sit, doctor.
All right.
Okay, so what we were talking about, we continue talking over the break, so it's hard to remember where we stopped before the break. But the point of major issue here was that from an illegal trial that violates the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, it violates everything, the Code of Civil Procedure, everything. I didn't have a neutral judge. The Code of Civil Procedure was not followed. It was just outrageous.
Yeah, no due process.
Right. And that's 14th Amendment due process. Okay. Because of it, they had this outrageous judgment. And then now, to shut me up, they're trying to scare me. They're trying to collect the things that I don't have. I don't have any property that they can seize. But if they keep this writ of execution, means that I can never rent a place to live in, because that's on the record and nobody will rent me a place. I cannot have a checking account, and if I have a checking account, put some money in to pay my bills, and they take the money before I get the chance to pay the bill. So basically, so that I cannot have the radio show, I cannot talk, not have a life. Trying to make
they will destroy your livelihood completely. But then that's the whole goal, Dr.
That's
Carpenter.
the whole goal, which is unconstitutional, to say the least. But that's their goal. So basically, they're trying to put me in a position that I cannot talk. I cannot present evidence. I cannot, just like they did with the trial. I cannot talk, explain my case, present evidence that everybody's lying involved in this case. They want to put me in a position where the truth cannot come out, and I cannot treat people, even the ones that want to come, in spite of all the bad propaganda, because people, I'm getting people that are engineers, that they are educated people, they understand. They understand that the attack, the method, illegal method used to violate the antitrust law. It's used in business. A lot of people get ruined by garbage put on the web. And then they understand the science. And that's what I say to people. Please do not tell me that you trust me. Tell me that you understand the science. Because if you do, nobody can lie to you like an ignorant Michelle or Chris Cuomo or Ali Mick or whoever. Ilya Basin.
Well, Dr. Carpenter, let me ask you this. What is it that we can do, aside from doing shows like this, for the listeners? What is it else that we can do to help you and support you? Is there anything you can think of?
Well, one thing, and I'm trying to get to people writing letters to the court in Oklahoma. It's the Northern District, the U.S. District Court in Oklahoma, and the Northern District, I think.
Well, can you write up, if you could write up something, just a short paragraph telling people where they can write. I will post it on my website, and you can post it, and anybody else. At least people would be aware, because sometimes if there's enough public outcry or pressure against these corrupt people, they have to take some notice, because they themselves are now being called into question as what are you doing?
What are you doing? I mean, this is totally illegal. And why are you permitted to do this in the United States? Okay, there is a constitution and nobody's following. It also is just not affecting me. If they get away to violate the constitution, tomorrow they can do it to everybody else. And then wouldn't you live in fear because you know you're not protected by the constitution? I would.
Hear about it every day, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I haven't heard anything going to this
stories.
extreme. Yeah, I haven't heard anything going to this extreme. I've heard of cases that people, a criminal trial, had DNA evidence that they were not the people that killed somebody, and they still are thrown in jail. So, I mean, it happens. But this has got to stop. They have to follow the Constitution, and they have to give people a...
Well, there's an epidemic.
Due process.
Yeah.
There's an epidemic of this, Dr. Carpenter, and James knows, who's still with us here, he knows about the case of Janet Phelan.
Yep.
Well, she's a good friend of mine, and she had to go to Mexico because she has no rights. She has no rights. She had a trust fund stolen from her by corrupt courts and guardianships. They murdered her mother. It's an outrageous story. And now they've cut off the payments on her trust fund. This is how bad it is. And she's trying to just survive.
The receivership. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what
That's one of her...
Why? What was she doing? Why they are doing that to her? Do you know?
Well, the guardianships and the receipt. Well, it's how the courts steal from older people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not just the older people, but their enemies. They just literally just steal everything you're worth.
Didn't you interview Janet James on this subject on your show?
Yes. Hmm?
I thought so.
That was
yeah.
what we talked about. And there's we could talk about anything, but that happened to be what we were talking about.
Yes.
And it's an ongoing problem in every state around the union.
And I knew of Janet before we actually came on the radio network because I read some of her whistleblowing articles about fluoride and picked up one that actually introduced me to who Dr. Carly was because it was a story that Janet had written.
But see, the thing is that's what they do because I was a defense industry whistleblower, and that's what they did. Yep. They blacklisted me, so I couldn't find any other job in the defense industry, and I was ending up homeless, basically. But I fought back, I came back, survived, and made it. And then that situation gave rise to this project and this because
that's an important point, though, Dr. Carpenter. The fact that you were a whistleblower and that you were involved in some kind of government type scenario. That's what they will always do to a whistleblower. A whistleblower, it's like you have a snowball's chance in hell.
Yes, but this was the money they were wasting on the MX missile, and they were producing garbage. And then if people wanted to, people in the military were relying on it and using it, they would die because that thing would explode before it was launched. So, I mean, I had to do it.
That was the savior, remember, in the Cold War, the MX missile?
Right, and then...
They counted that as the biggest and the baddest.
But you did the right thing because you have a conscience.
And then what did they do? The first thing, when they tried to stop the Cold War, the first thing they do, they destroyed the MX missile in their silo. It was an excuse to cover up the fact that those would never have worked, and all the money of research and development of those missiles went to the Mormon church.
Wow. That's unbelievable. Huh. It really is.
I mean, and I was in Ninapa with a daughter and a mother to support. And, I was married, but my husband wasn't. But anyway, so we all ended up in the street with nothing because of what they did at Martin Marietta. And I still was able to survive, recover, and then produce something of real use to people. And so they want to do it again. I mean, I cannot start over again. And besides, it's not just an issue of starting over. This is an issue of something that resolves a world plague.
Yes,
that's what cancer is.
That's correct. There's so many layers to this, Dr. Carpenter. And in one way or another, if you're going back in time from the thing where you were the whistleblower, they've been tracking you all along, and you are a serious threat to them. They would never come after somebody like this unless that person is considered a threat. You could shut down their operations in a number of ways. Aside from
should be shut down.
And they should.
I think the whole cancer industry is the reason that cancer rates are so high right now.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the cancer industry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It perpetuates itself.
And I'm telling you that also with this early detection, they put people through hell Well, horrible torture, that's what I call a cancer treatment. And they don't have anything. The early detection is too early stage to really detect anything. They butcher women, they poison them, they ruin their health forever for nothing. And that's what really is infuriating. And what they do...
I've heard the horror stories, Dr. Carpenter, from people that I know.
Every person I've loved in the last 20 years has died horribly of cancer.
Experienced
and they did not die of cancer. They died of treatment.
They died of chemo and heroin. Well, morphine.
Right.
Morphine.
Yeah, that's the... morphine is to make you comfortable. See, they decide, they play God, decide this person is dead now, we can't make it, so
we just want to make them comfortable.
Yeah, they just kill them off.
Make them comfortable.
Yeah. Yes, and they do it to my patient if they are not careful. It's not that they have cancer. It's not they're dying of cancer. They report that. They give and make him comfortable. And, you know, they've done it to a patient even though she refused. She had a different problem, but they said, no, it was cancer, and they gave her chemo. And no, they didn't give her chemo. They wanted to, but she refused it, and she fought all the way. But then they gave her morphine, and she died of morphine. And she said, I don't need morphine because I'm not in pain. And they gave it to her because they killed them that way.
Yep.
That's disgusting. Or I guess we're almost out of time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I hope these cockroaches are listening. I hope the cockroaches are listening.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Because we're going to continue to shine the light of truth on these cockroaches.
Yeah, well, you know, they're telling us something about... They know nothing about you. And see what they did.
Exactly.
I mean, it's unbelievable. They know absolutely nothing about you because if they checked your blog post, they would know. No, they didn't. They didn't check anything. They just shut their mouth out with garbage like they've always done from day one.
Which is good. Let them keep doing that.
Yeah, put their feet in their mouth. Okay, I think...
Wow, there goes the music.
Yeah, okay. Thanks,
guys.
Thank you, JJ, for popping in.
Thank you, JJ. Thank you, Barbara. And then we'll continue this sometime.
Barbara Hartwell versus CIA.blogspot.com.
Thanks.
Okay, go there and check the...